So in this video, I'd like to cover why most 3D projects fail before they even start. And I would say that the issue here is not even related to the topology itself. And these type of problems don't even happen in the middle or even at the end of the project. They're mostly the problems of that initial starting phase. So now the question becomes sort of like how to approach that first 20% of a model so that the rest of your process or the rest of your workflow becomes easier or less challenging. And the real struggle most artists are going to face here is not really then where to start exactly, because most of us, we have kind of like ideas what we want to do, but the question is more like how can I actually start? So it begins the moment when you open your scene and kind of like figure out, okay, so where do I even begin here? Because you maybe look at the reference and then you're kind of quickly trying to block something out. But then what happens is that you're just undoing and then trying it again. And then you undo and then you try again, eventually kind of like give up and try something else, and the new cycle continues. And suddenly you're kind of like worried about the edge flow, proportions and details. But as you kind of like progress further, you just notice that something here is off and the design wise is not feeling right. And you maybe feel that the whole workflow does not just work well. And I've seen also projects where, let's say, there is a perfect topology, but then the problem is in that middle of the project where, let's say, all forms are actually intersecting instead of connecting seamlessly to one another. And then the question becomes, well, how do I now connect this? Well, this is now a problem of just improper planning, because if this would be, let's say, a decision made even before you started your 3D modeling process, then all of this could be avoided and you would not have this problem, let's say, midway. So individually, let's say all pieces might be perfectly well designed, but together they do not then create that sense of a completed or finished model. And then without clear starting protocol, so to say, you're forced to solve the problems as you go, and then critical workflow issues can pop up anytime. And then the worst of all is that every decision becomes a guess, and every step just feels uncertain, that you're actually not really certain in the steps that you're taking. And then uncertain start is almost always just leading to uncertain results. So you're not just going to be satisfied with your workflow, but also your results are going to reflect that. Now, the real missing piece here is not learning or solving this with more tools or more plugins, or even learning more topology rules. The core is simply understanding and anticipating the next steps, just being aware of what is actually coming and which situation works best for you. And that simply means knowing like what matters first, what can wait, and which decisions maybe lock you in too early, and which decisions should stay flexible, because not all decisions are going to be the same for every single situation. You don't really need to know every single rule to create good work. You only need to have a strong foundation built on a few essential principles, and that is all. So let's now talk about why your workflow might feel slow. And in this example, I'm going to use a simple weapon project here. So this is going to be the same principle for any project. This is just an example of what we are going to talk about. And these are just common questions that you might have at the start. Like, is this the right base shape, or should I already care about the edge flow this early? Or am I adding redirections too early? Are my support loops too tight or too soft? Or should I start with a higher or lower density? Just as a few examples. And then you're almost, let's say, midway through the project, and then realize that your proportions are off and the topology feels all over the place. And then finally, what the biggest problem becomes here is that you're fighting the design you want to create simply because the technical problems are standing in your way. And at that point, most people either start again, kind of like starting over, repeating the same foundational mistakes in another cycle or another practice, or they just push through a result that eventually they don't even maybe like. And the real issue here isn't the way you use the tools or in the topology itself. The real issue here is that the general context is missing, because every single project needs to have a clearly defined intent before you even start creating anything. So you need to be clear, and you need to know, is this project for practice? And if it is, what specific part of the workflow do you want to improve here in this practice, so to say? And then second, if it's not for practice, is it then for your portfolio? But if it's for your portfolio, then what type of portfolio are you creating? So is it a game pipeline? Is it a film? Is it a high poly only? Is it a high poly and low poly together? So you need to be very clear, like if you're practicing, what that practice is, and if it's for portfolio, what type of portfolio you're also creating, so that your practice also becomes more purposeful. And then finally, what is the fidelity here? So will it be zoomed in on the details, or will your project be seen from far away, where maybe details can be baked in, or maybe topology doesn't have to be like overcomplicated, too dense and whatnot, and you can just simplify the process where you can, because all these factors are going to be extremely important when you're creating your project. So then from the start, you already have a clear idea, what exactly are you creating, what exactly can you practice, where can you be more loose, and where can you be more intentional. And once you have these questions answered, then your workflow becomes more intentional, and then your results can also reflect that thinking, decision making, and that quality. So yeah, unless you set yourself a goal from the very start of the project, any project you create will miss the intent behind your decision making. And without that context, every decision will eventually feel heavy, and then every mistake will, eventually kind of feel expensive in time, that you're just losing more time instead of getting faster and more efficient. All right, so here I would like to give you a small workflow checklist that you can do with every single project, especially if you're starting out or especially if you're kind of struggling. This is the simple checklist you can use before starting every project. And I'm just going to mention this just quickly. In case you're interested in resetting your, let's say, basics or 3D modeling fundamentals, I have a free 4-day, 5-day class you can check out. Link is going to be in the description. And every day you're going to get a new class where you can practice. And the exercises are relatively simple, so you can just put directly everything into practice as you go. All right, so what is the simplest way to start a project so you don't end up scrapping it midway? And think of it like this. So like a pilot, even you can be, let's say, the most experienced pilot, but you still need to have a pre-flight checklist, and you need to do the same thing for you. So something simple you can rely on every single time when you're starting a project, so you are aware of the mistakes that might arise. So even before they come, that you can, let's say, solve them sooner, and simply that you are aware of the workflow that it's coming your way. All right, so starting with number one, it's going to be select the right starting shapes immediately. So your blockout is going to be 80% of the work, and every new shape that is built on that foundation is just simply going to reflect the effort you put into that 80% of the work. And the remaining 20% is going to be reserved only for strengthening that base. So your secondary forms, complementary forms, your details are only complementing, again, that 80% of the work. So if you skip that 80%, that is still going to be reflected in every single new form that you add. So if the base is weak, no amount of effort will fix it halfway through the process, and it's just like that. So number two is going to be establish an even spread early on, because even spread is going to be your core mechanic for the health of your model. It's actually a very simple rule to follow, and just make your quads as even as possible in the initial stage. So large quads are going to give you that shape flexibility, and while small quads are going to give big shape stability. So again, large quads you can manipulate easily, but small quads eventually are going to give those, let's say, shapes stability in the end. So number three is going to be establish proper highlights with support loop. And here's the important thing. Support loops are not there just to sharpen the corner. They are actually there to create a highlight for that corner. So support loops do not have to have every single edge or every single corner razor sharp. So observe your highlights before you decide which support loop should be tighter and which one should be softer. So sometimes you want to have maybe a softer highlight on your surface, and sometimes you maybe want to have softer, and you can play with the dynamics between the two, again, to get more dynamic forms, because support loops are going to define the highlights of your surface, not just the, let's say, sharpness of the edges. All right, so moving to number four, make sure that the natural flow actually follows the main forms. And this is going to be extremely simple, and it's directly connected to how you are even spread is organized. So natural form simply follows already established shape, and that's it. This is the simplest way to start your process without overthinking where to redirect geometry. Do you have to redirect geometry? And you don't have to worry about redirecting any corners yet at this stage. So your only job is just to make the natural flow, again, flows as naturally as the form is already established. Some cases though, you are going to need to, let's say, redirect specific parts if, for example, your details or your forms later require it, but still it's related to having the natural flow established. So this is going to be maybe a little bit more kind of like nuanced topic, but the best thing to start is just to follow the flow of the form if you can. So number 5 is going to be also really important, and that is pause and just double check your foundation. So before you continue to the next phase, just double check if your base is actually reading well. Does the silhouette look interesting or dynamic enough? Do you have even spread, natural flow, and proper highlights established? Because if not, now is going to be a good time to refine and save your process, because now is the point where you're actually going into that mid development of the project. And if that initial stage, this kind of the first 20%, is established well, then you can just take simple pause to double check if everything as it should be. Again, even spread, silhouette, natural flow, proper highlights, and if that is reading well, then this is going to be the foundation where you build all new forms on. And final tip, this would be a good place to create a save file, just in case you're not creating save files as you go. But I would recommend from even spread to support loop and so on, that for each major changes that you're just simply creating save files, just in case something goes off, you can always revert back. So number 6 is redirection and density. So I would say that this is the most crucial part. And the question is again related to, do you need more density on your mesh for the next form and then or details? And if the answer is no, like I do not need more density and I do not plan to have any complex new forms, then again, you don't really need more density. So look for areas where then you can redirect the corner to send, let's say, denser areas toward the center and keeping the spread even. So if you don't plan to add any density, you don't need any more details, you don't plan to detail, you don't plan to make any new shapes, and the topology that you have is enough, then you can look for corners and you can look for areas where you can redirect few corners, where you can redirect few edges. But again, redirection is coming last after your shapes are more or less established. Again, nuanced answer, but for the most cases, this is going to be the way to go. Now, if the answer is yes, so if you say, all right, I do plan to have more details, I do need to have more density and more resolution for new forms, then that new geometry will eventually make your corners tighter. So that simply means that you're planning for the density, and then you can create corners where the topology itself is holding those corners tighter, so you don't really need to redirect anything. In this case, I mean specifically corners. There may be some areas on a surface that you might need to redirect, where let's say you have an angled edge and suddenly this angled edge needs to be straightened. This is going to be a different thing. You still can fix that, but purely from the redirection side, this is going to be how you balance. So will that new geometry make the corners tighter? And if so, then you don't have to worry about redirecting corners, since the topology will be dense enough to hold them already in place. So that simply means you can go pretty far into your development without redirecting every single corner. All right, so number 7 is going to be the final pause. So before you continue to further forms, let's say like panel breaks, cutouts, details, just simply double check whatever your current topology supports the directions of the forms you need, because primary forms need to be reading well before you introduce your secondary forms. And again, primary forms are going to be your silhouette or moving parts or something like that. And then secondary forms are going to be parts that fit into these big chunks or big moving parts. And the primary and secondary forms need to read well together before you introduce complementary forms and details. So complementary forms and details, like the name suggests, they are just complementing already established foundation. And in the end, if you find yourself asking, well, I'm not sure where to start, then that is the exactly what you should actually practice. Kind of like that starting point of the process, that's kind of like first 20% of the process. And then how to start and finish any project is simply a question of having a clear roadmap that connects your beginning to the end, that you have a clear idea how the beginning of the project looks like, how the middle of the project looks like, and then finally how that completion looks like. And when you have that full picture, then it's going to be easier to anticipate any new, let's say, challenges or problems that come your way, and you can isolate them and then practice them individually. And then the shorter your practice cycle, the more often you can actually repeat that complete cycle. So instead of, let's say, practicing on one project 10 days, you can actually do the same thing in a couple of hours, because the goal here is to build a repeatable starting process you can actually apply to any project anytime. And then you won't get stuck searching for answers in the middle of the project, because then you already have the perspective to anticipate any potential problems before you even start. So yeah, this is going to be it for this video. And if you're interested, I've created a full workshop based on this. Link is going to be in the description below, so feel free to check it out. And there we're going to unwrap this problem a little bit further. Like always, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to use the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if I can. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to see you next time.